been married for about 6 months. I've been in a relationship for about 7 years, and we are monogamous off camera, but we are open on camera.
Is this for the money, or just like you're like, this is what I'm called to do?
I would say it's primarily for the money. The same
with regards to bringing the other dude in. Would you say that was primarily driven by her?
At the edges of our conventional relationship, and the people will be incapable.
Bruh.
Well, I mean,
ain't mostly not conventional.
Well, I mean,
I'm trying to figure out like where your soul is, and as much as like removing money from the equation, and it's up to you, and she were a robot as opposed to a human, and you could have it to where you could have things open on your side but closed on her side. Mm-hmm. Would you prefer that?
I can say that when we shot the scene with this other guy the other day, I had a great time. It was fun overall.
Like your time was enhanced because he was there. Because me personally, I like my meat to be the only one on the sandwich.
Right. No, it was exciting. Sure.
Just one last piece. Sometimes we aren't really, seeing ourselves in as much as you said she brought the conversation to you. You said that you didn't feel comfortable initially with Jason Love being involved in.
Nothing changed in our relationship after she shot with another guy, so that was pretty abated quickly.
Right, so it's like called the inversion of morals, which is to say that truth be told, in your heart of hearts, you're not comfortable with it. You want to retain your spouse.
I've had moments of
one second, I didn't interrupt you. I didn't interrupt you at all because I do want to hear you out.
You're kind of pushing like a fake narrative by saying that I'm uncomfortable with it.
But sometimes when things happen and you want to keep your lady, you make the adjustment, compromising, but in your heart of heart, that's not really what you wanted. So you're being open, and then you had this idea planted, and then you start adopting it, thinking like, okay, well, I'm okay with it. Maybe it's something that I signed off on too. So you assign it mutuality when in actual fact, the inception of that idea came from her, and you've adjusted
to you. And I mean, to be honest, we both made 7 figures off of that one scene.
Yo, what up? Marco Brown here, and these are my thoughts. Back at you with another reaction, unbiased review. So we're having a look at this encounter on a podcast called the Whatever podcast, and it's between I think his name is Saint the Sinner and Adam 22. I find it really interesting because it's like Saint the Sinner is almost trying to diagnose some sort of mental illness, it seems like, or beta maleism within Adam 22, for the simple fact that he's allowed his wife to be rammed by a BBC, right? And he has no problem with it, whereas he can't see himself allowed any of his women to do that, because men like him, and that's Saint the Sinner I'm talking about, they go under the mantra of being an alpha male, and therefore they have things open on their end, closed on the woman's end. So basically what that means is they can have sex with as much women as possible, but that woman dare touch another man, it's not going to be possible, not under their watch. Okay, which fine, if that's how you run it, that's how you run it. I mean, me personally, I wouldn't want my woman to be piped by another man, but then equally I know she wouldn't want me to be piping another woman. So we have that understanding and we have that mutual agreement. But for a lot of men out there, it's like, okay, that can only be a one-sided affair, primarily because I'm going to be providing resources for you. So therefore, because I provide resources for you, you have to adhere to my terms and conditions, which is I get to have as much women that I want, and you only can be my exclusive. I can only be your exclusive man. Fair enough. If that works, that works. But in another video, I explain why that's also that's BS anyway. The thing that gets to me really on this video is, Saint the Sinner is talking about relationships and morality of relationships when, the message is not really consistent with the messenger, because he doesn't live that life. He lives a life where he has the multiple women, and he said it on many occasions, whereas Adam 22 is being consistent. Saint the Sinner really struggles with the idea that he's not talking to an average man walking on the street, or even a rich man walking on the street, because Adam 22 is a rich man. He is a man who, both him and his wife, they're self-proclaimed corn stars, right? What they do for a living, right? And initially, when they asked him on the status of his relationship, he said, we are monogamous off camera, but we have an open relationship on camera. And he's been with his wife for 7 years, yeah, in terms of relationship, but they've been married for 6 months. And as far as he's explained it, within most of those 7 years, there's been him having, interactions with other women stars, right? And now, because he's crossed the boundary and allowed his wife to now experience other male stars, right? Now there's a big alarm bells being sent across the whole man space, right? And it's because in their mind, you must be a beta male to allow your wife to be piped by another man, right? Under your watch, you must be a beta male. But what they don't understand is Adam 22 is what he says he is. He's not living a double lifestyle. He says everybody knows this guy, outside of doing his hip-hop content and interviews on the podcast and everything, he has an OnlyFans with his wife, and they do corn on a regular basis. So if they do this on a regular basis, I don't understand what Saint the Sinner is struggling to comprehend. He's detached from the normal perils of a relationship, of a standard, normal, everyday, bog standard relationship. It means he's not in the same category. So whenever I see people do reactions to this, or I see him arguing or debating with people on this, the thing that puzzles me is, what do you struggle with? The guy is living the life he says he's living. He's not like a lot of these, red pillars who claim to be living one life, but then they're living a double life when no one's watching. Yeah, he's literally doing what he said he does. And on top of that, he said on multiple occasions, the driving force is financial, right? And then again, they struggle to understand what he means. What he basically means is he has a straight urge and lust for money. His desire is to create businesses, create opportunities, and make money. And he said he doesn't live a flamboyant lifestyle, but when they shot that scene with Jason Love and it went viral, he bought her the Lambo truck as a thank you gift for the amount of money that she made him. Remember, she made that money. Yeah, that money that she made from that scene eclipsed probably anything that they've made at that point in time, right? But the Saint Sinner can't understand this. And I'll tell you the reason why he can't understand this. Because most of these red pillars, and most of them, especially the black ones in particular, the black men, you have to realize their masculinity is attached to their sexuality. Yeah, it sounds crazy, but their masculinity and their alpha-ness is really attached to their ability to have interactions with women, to be able to conquer women, claim women in the multiples, right? The more women that they can get, the more masculine that they are. And if you compound that with the ability to earn money, then they're the most alpha and masculine human being walking on the face of this earth. And especially with a lot of black men, there's nothing more masculine than the ability to conquer a woman. That's the reality of it, right? That's why men like him and other men I've heard talk in the space, they really struggle with the fact that a man like Adam 22 can have a wife and he can segregate, he can create a demarcation line and just separate himself and focus on business and allow his wife to do this as she allows him to do what he does, right? In the name of business and making money. Now, how it has a snowball effect on their children is just a separate discussion, separate argument. And I guarantee you there'll be things put in place to protect their child, because in that world, and this is where the regular man walking on the street and the woman walking on the street does not understand the world of the 1%ers, right? These extremely rich people, even if they go to the most prestigious schools out there, it doesn't matter what their parents do. What matters is how rich they are and how much power they have. So most of the times they're not going to experience what the repercussions would be if you're a struggling OnlyFans model who's got a child in a normal public school. That's going to be hell on earth for that child, right? But most of the times for these extremely rich people, they have a way of masking things for their children. Yeah, you hear about children that, things go wrong for them, they get addicted to drugs and depression and stuff like that. Yeah, you do hear about that, but those are some of the most regular type of rich people as well, whose children experience those sort of things as well. So it can happen either way. The point of the matter is the debate and the desire to try and, what he's trying to do is diagnose Adam 22 as being some beta male who's allowed another man, and especially another black man, to pipe his wife. It's redundant, it's ridiculous, because it makes no sense, because you're talking to someone who does this for a living. I'd understand if it was a situation where it's just a regular normal guy, and the regular normal guy allowed another man to, bed his wife in front of him for free. Then we have a problem. But this guy said the moment the cameras go off, nothing else exists. They're both husband and wife. You have to be extremely mentally tough to do that. I could never do that. But this is his world, and that's why Saint Listen has no concept of what this guy is saying. And to really go at him, and if you see later on in the video, they have an exchange, they argue, and then it's almost like he wants to fight him, and then Adam 22 storms off. It's pointless because he doesn't understand. He's talking to a guy who's emotionless about what he does, so long as he's making money. His goal within this is to make money. Now, the real topic of question is how men like Jason Love and other black men like that Little D, they're allowing, right, Adam 22 and his wife to monetize them. Because I guarantee you, Jason Love and Little D did not make nowhere near as much money as Adam 22 and his wife. So who is the real winner then? Who are the winners and who's the real losers, right? We can walk around and think, oh, Adam 22 is a loser, another man piped his wife. It'll be forgotten in the next 2-3 years. It'll be a figment of everyone's imagination. But the reality will be is these guys have been richer and richer and richer. Come on. Everyone saw the video with, not me, but everyone saw the video with Ray J and Kim Kardashian. That's all forgotten. It's forgotten. When you think of Kim Kardashian, you don't think of Ray J anymore. You don't. So that's my point. Even though sometimes that video does rear its ugly head every once in a while in terms of what was done, but she's become so much more successful and richer and much more affluent and powerful in this world and influential, that video did her probably the best justice that she's ever experienced. Arguably. So that's just my thoughts on it. You know, Saint the Sinner is way out of his depth on this one. He does not get it, right? And I'm watching thinking, you are talking to a guy who's not on nearly the same level as you. He's way richer than you, guaranteed, right? And Saint the Sinner knows it. That's why I gave the example of 2 mil versus 15 mil. No, Adam 22 is probably playing with way more money than that. And Saint the Sinner he's probably barely scratching any of those sort of numbers. That's why he cannot conceive. That's why he keeps saying things like, if you remove the money out of it, you can't remove the money out of it. You can't, right? Because the driving motivation is doing business, making money, and winning. That's what it's all about. That's why he does it. Otherwise, they both would hang up their boots and say, no way. And it's the same reason why OnlyFans models are doing what they're doing. It's for money and success and all the freedoms that money brings with it. That's why I'm not saying it's necessarily the right thing that they're doing, but you give the opportunity to people who don't have much money, and they're gonna grab it. That's why we have an explosion of all this stuff. It's because the opportunity that men actually have given women by subscribing to these OnlyFans, right, to live this lifestyle. Yeah, okay. Enough of my thoughts on this one. The reality is, this guy has no concept. You're talking to a man who's on a different. He's in a different timeline, different time zone. He has no comprehension as to what Saint Sin is talking about. At the end of the day, he says, look, this is my wife. This is what we do. We've been doing this for 7 years. It's just business. But when we turn those cameras off, and even it's funny because there was a scene that I managed to catch when they were doing the auditions for who is going to win this reality show to you know pipe his wife in a boy girl scene. And then the guy that won, Lil D, I remember he was walking, and then he went to to touch his wife. Adam 22 straight away said, yo, the camera's not on, man, take your hands off her. Even though his wife was a bit more forthcoming, but it just shows how territorial he is with regards to not allowing you access to the goods if it doesn't involve money, right? If they're not getting paid to do it, it doesn't get done. Like, comment, subscribe. Marco Brown, these are my thoughts. I'm out of here. Peace.